Welcome back to Movies Outpost. Today we will be diving into an action thriller movie titled Run All Night. Enjoy the recap. Our story begins with a scene that's a real heart clencher. Jimmy Conlon lying wounded, his gut leaking from a gunshot. His inner voice takes center stage, telling us it's not about life flashing before your eyes at death's doorstep, but about every single regret and mistake you've ever made. Quite the bummer, huh? Amidst all this introspection, there's a commotion in the backdrop. It's Mike, Jimmy's son, playing Dodge the Bullet. But let's hit the rewind button. We're rolling back the clock to just 16 hours prior when our troubled protagonist was in a much less painful situation, knocking back drinks at a bar. Next, we're underground in the bar's basement. There's Danny McGuire, the spawn of Jimmy's old boss, Sean, in the middle of a shady deal with some corrupt cops. Jimmy, out of cash and with a busted heater at home, approaches Danny for an $800 loan. But there's a catch. Danny will only help if Jimmy plays Santa at his house. His usual guy bailed. Begrudgingly, Jimmy gives in. Switch focus. Enter Mike, Jimmy's son, a mentor at a local gym for boys missing father figures. One of his mentees, a kid called Legs. Mike has a pretty sweet setup at home. His wife Gabriella, their two girls Caitlin and Lily, and another kiddo on the way. Gabriella's working on a picture collage for the unborn baby, but when Mike spots a photo of his younger self with Jimmy, he's not thrilled. He hides Jimmy's face behind a picture of his daughter. Cut to Danny, all set for a meeting with some Albanian guys and his father Sean. They're trying to push a new brand of heroin, but Sean, who wants nothing to do with his old lifestyle, shoots down the proposal. Disgruntled, the Albanians assure Danny they'll come by to get back the cash they fronted him. Danny's in over his head, and Sean can't help but question where his son lost his way. Jimmy, donning the Santa suit, arrives at Sean's house, but let's just say he's not the jolliest Santa on the block. He's had a few too many, he's flirting with someone's wife, and to top it off, he gets too close to the fireplace, singing his hand. Let the expletives fly, not exactly a picture-perfect holiday moment. Sean finds Jimmy upstairs, cooling off from the festive disaster. These two go way back to when Jimmy was Sean's enforcer. They share a smoke and some quiet moments, but trouble is brewing. Scene switch. Jimmy's at a diner, and in walks Detective John Harding and his partner, Torres. Harding's no fool. He knows Jimmy's not so squeaky clean past and how he's dodged the law thanks to the corrupt cops on Sean's payroll. Jimmy, the gravedigger, that's what they used to call him. Harding offers Jimmy his card just in case he ever feels like confessing. Now remember Mike? He's juggling jobs and currently moonlighting as a limo driver carting the Albanians to Danny's place. Outside, he spots Legs, his mentee, biking alone. Not on Mike's watch, he sends Legs home, even offers him a ride. Inside the house, things take a serious turn. Danny hands the Albanians a bag full of Monopoly money, but they're not laughing. In fact, the head Albanian threatens Danny, only to be silenced by a bullet from Danny's gun. Danny doesn't stop there, his partner too becomes a target. The wounded partner stumbles outside, but it's a losing game. Kid Legs, hidden in the shadows, captures it all on video as Danny fires the lethal shot. Suddenly Mike's the target. Danny shatters his car window, yanking him out and dragging him back into the house. But Mike's not going down without a fight. A momentary distraction gives him a chance to strike back, allowing him to escape from Danny and his buddy, though not without losing his wallet in the process. With danger at his heels, Mike bolts home, quickly dialing Gabriella. She's safe at her brother Ricky's place with their girls. His instructions are clear, stay put until he calls back. But there's no time to breathe. Mike hears a pounding on his door. It's Jimmy drawn back to his son's home for the first time since his wife's funeral. While Jimmy steps outside for a smoke, guess who walks into Mike's house? None other than Danny. Gun drawn, he moves towards Mike, but before Danny can fire, a shot rings out, from Jimmy no less, striking Danny in the neck. Mike tries to stem the bleeding, but it's too late for Danny. Jimmy takes off, leaving Mike to dial 911, explaining that his father had shot Danny in self-defense. Jimmy then dials Sean, confessing to the unfathomable. A devastated Sean shares the news with his wife. She responds with a slap, collapsing into her grief. Meanwhile, the crooked cops from earlier show up at Mike's house. They recognize Danny's body and slap handcuffs on Mike. Jimmy is on the chase, tailing the cops through the city streets. Then bam, he slams into their car, sending it crashing through a storefront. In the chaotic aftermath, Jimmy frees Mike, who snatches one of the cops' guns. As the surviving cop raises his weapon, it's Mike's turn to aim. But Jimmy intervenes, pulling the trigger himself. Civilian eyes bear witness, and soon a citywide manhunt for Mike and Jimmy is underway. Next stop, the subway. The chase is still on, goons hot on their trail. Jimmy brawls with one of them in the restroom while Mike navigates the bustling train. The pair just barely make it aboard in time. Mike's family is on his mind, but Jimmy cautions him. Sean's after both of them, and their families aren't safe either. Their only shot is to survive the night together. Scene change. Jimmy faces Sean, pleading for forgiveness for Danny's death. Sean's fury is unrelenting though. He's hell-bent on getting to Mike first and then letting Jimmy die. Cut to Ricky's house, now under the watchful eyes of Sean's goons. Just as Mike shows up to warn Gabriella and the girls, they hide in the shower while Ricky plays distraction. The goons eventually leave empty-handed, but Sean isn't done. He calls up Price, a hitman, to join the hunt. The pair head to Leg's apartment, hoping the young lad can help. Mike runs into Leg's brothers and asks them to convince Legs to assist, but a nosy neighbor spots Mike and Jimmy, and she's quick to dial the cops. The law's on their tail, forcing Mike and Jimmy to start cooking up an exit strategy. But just as they cut the power, the hitman Price shows up, dropping a cop at the doorstep. Navigating the pitch-dark stairwell with night vision goggles, he quickly catches up with our duo who've ignited a fire as a distraction. The flames lick higher as Jimmy tussles with Price, managing to scorch his face and bring him down. Mike has his gun trained on Price, but Jimmy tells him not to pull the trigger. Time's running out. The sound of sirens grows louder, and Price starts dropping cops. With a fiery explosion in their rear view, Mike and Jimmy manage to give everyone the slip. Next stop, the home of Jimmy's brother Eddie. Upon hearing Jimmy was the one who offed Sean's son, Eddie loses it. He recalls how Jimmy killed their cousin who was going to testify against Sean, the deed Jimmy once blamed on someone else. With that bombshell, Eddie demands they leave. After ensuring the safety of Mike's family, our grizzled veteran Jimmy decides it's time to face the music. The stage is set at Sean's bar, a haunting symbol of their shared past. Without flinching, Jimmy strides in and takes out the hitmen one by one, each shot bringing him closer to his ultimate confrontation with Sean. The showdown unfolds in an atmospheric train yard, the iron tracks underlining the grit and tension of this life-or-death face-off. Bullets zing through the air, ricocheting off the steel structures around them. Sean tries to make a run for it, but Jimmy's got his sights set on only one outcome, safeguarding his son, Mike. He fires his weapon and the bullet finds its mark, plunging into Sean's side. Unable to make a getaway now, Sean falls to the ground. Despite the pain and hostility between them, Jimmy can't help but rush to his old friend's side, holding him as life slips away. It's a powerful moment, witnessing the end of a bond that's been marred by crime, betrayal, and vengeance. While all this intense drama is unfolding, our young lad Legs makes a vital play. With the damning video of Danny's deadly actions in hand, he heads straight to Detective Harding. The video clearly illustrates Danny as the real villain, effectively clearing Mike's name. Cut to a serene lake house in North Shore. Jimmy joins Mike and his family, meeting Gabriella and the girls for the first time. Little Lily isn't quite ready to warm up to her grandfather, but Mike leads his family outside to enjoy a peaceful moment by the lake, feeding the ducks. In the tranquil solitude of the lake house, Jimmy stumbles upon Gabriella's touching collage. He's taking in the memories etched into those photos when suddenly, a bullet tears into his side. A chilling figure stands far off in the distance. It's none other than Price, the hitman, making his lethal move. The sound of the gunshot reverberates through the air, ripping through the serenity of the moment. Mike springs into action, adrenaline coursing through his veins. He instructs Ricky to whisk the girls to safety while he arms himself and charges into the thick woods, his mind laser-focused on one goal: stop Price. Meanwhile, inside the house, Jimmy is wrestling with his impending end. Every breath is a struggle, but the old soldier in him is not ready to go down without a fight. With a grimace of pain and determination etched onto his face, he summons his last reserves of strength, carefully loading one bullet into his rifle. As Mike and Price dance their deadly dance in the woods, Jimmy takes painstaking aim, his entire being focused on his target. He fires, and the bullet finds its home, striking Price in the head just as he's about to take out Mike. Mike, having just narrowly escaped death, rushes over to find his father Jimmy, breathing his last. As his life fades, Jimmy clutches a grim keepsake, a list bearing the names of every soul he's ever taken. Detective Harding and his partners arrive just in time, finding Mike by his father's side. Understanding the truth, Harding reassures Mike of his known innocence. Fast forward a bit, and we find Mike back at the gym, watching Legs spar with another kid. Legs wins the match, a sight that fills Mike with pride. At home, he walks into a warm scene of Gabriella and the girls making Christmas cookies. Donning formal attire, likely for Jimmy's funeral, he pauses one last time to look at a photo of him and Jimmy by the lake. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.